adults, sometimes we forget how to dream. Like, we totally stop dreaming. We start getting in the rat race of life and just think, okay, this is the way it is. And it doesn't have to be this way, that way with this business. Like, the sky's the limit. Nobody puts a price tag and says, hey, you're worth this amount. And Ashley's incredible at getting people envisioning. She's lived the life of her dreams. And we're just grateful, Ashley, that you're here to help us. So, her and her husband have made millions in this industry. They've had a personal plane. They've had nice big houses, and they've helped a lot of people along the way to have a better life. So I don't want to steal her thunder and tell you her story, but I'm going to turn it over to her. And Ashley, we're so grateful to have you. And I'm so grateful for each and every person on this call, because you stepped up and said, hey, I'm a leader, and you're on this call on a Saturday. So we're blessed to have you in our life and a part of this journey and a part of Team Unstoppable.
Thank you, Susan. And thank you, Susan. And for those that don't know, I'm channeling my inner Susan, because my first name is actually Susan. So I feel like I'm just kind of like channeling it right now. So I'm going to go by Susan, right? So I just, I'm really honored to be here. And I'm just looking at all these amazing, beautiful people here, ready for something, a change in their life, whether it be from a health standpoint. And if you're here with Susan and Susan, it's obviously a financial one as well. Make no mistake by that. So I'm going to share my screen. What I want you to understand, I'm going to kind of give a little bit of background about us on twofold, because we all start here the exact same way. Make no mistake, I don't care if you live a good life or you live a broke life. We all start the exact same way. And I can tell you, if you live a good life, that's the enemy of a great life, because there is so much more out there in life than what you might be experiencing just because you live comfortable, right? But at the end of the day, you still have somebody that you report to. And God did not design us, one, to sit still, and two, to be owned by somebody or something. We're here to be free. And that's what, to me, our industry does for you. It allows you to give options back into your life, to give those options for freedom. So I'm going to share my screen. So, everything that you're hearing with the company, with our pay plan, how to go build, everything is extremely, extremely important. But to me, if you don't know your why, that is the rock, to me, of your foundation of your business. And so this is how to really build your business on a rock. And that is to have your why. So like I said, and your why is like Susan said, is different for everybody, but you got to understand to know your why to be on a rock or versus on a sand. And when I say sand, that is when I ask somebody what their why is, and they say, well, I want to help people. Well, listen, I don't mean any disrespect by this, but don't we all? I want to help my family. Yeah, so we all do, right? We all want financial freedom. Well, how do you even know what financial freedom is when you're living paycheck to paycheck? And I'm not saying everybody, and financial freedom is different for everybody. Like, define that. Like, you've got to really dig in. And what does financial freedom look like for you? So when I say, like I said, I don't mean any disrespect when I say sand, but your business you won't last here. You won't be here for the long haul. You're not going to be creating that legacy and generational wealth that truly, when I say what you have your hands on with Partner Co., I really believe with all my heart, it is Amway 2.0, that legacy income out here that you can build. So a rock, knowing your why on a rock is, you know what? When you go to bed at night and you look at your kids and you're doing it for your kids because you're not going to quit on them, write their name down, each one. Pay off debt. Well, we got to get specific on that. It gets really uncomfortable sometimes. You've got to write the name of the credit card, the name of the debt, and then write the total amount out. You want to buy a house? go draw that house out. What does it look like? How many rooms does it have? How many bathrooms? How many windows? How much land do you want it on? In a neighborhood or not in a neighborhood? Do you want a condo on the beach? Whatever that is, you got to get specific. And listen, I got to say that we did this with the Panama City group of girls. I know you don't know who they are, but we did this over a year ago. But I had never heard this before. And y'all, this was the funniest, but it was an aha moment for me. Her husband is a carpenter and does extremely well, like high-end carpentry work down on, we live in the Panhandle in Florida. So we've got 30A, multi-million dollar homes on the beach. And so he does a lot of work over there. And they live about an hour and a half north on some land, family land. They grew up in a small town there. And she said that she just has a family home that was passed down and she would love to build her own home. And I said, really? I said, well, what does that look like? And she just started saying, well, they've got 2 kids. So it's be a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, like no extras for like thinking future grandkids or anything like that. She was, oh, no. And I said, well, what, every woman's got their kitchen, right? I said, what does your kitchen look like? She goes, I ain't having a kitchen. That just takes up, I want more closet space. I said, Stephanie, wait, what? She was like, I don't cook. We eat out every meal. Like, I don't cook. So why would I have a kitchen when I can have a bigger closet? And I was like, okay, well, all right. That like really took, I had never heard that before. So I just kind of sat back and like that next night, I went to bed thinking about it that next night. I was like, you really might be just genius because we don't cook a lot of times. A lot of people do. Some people don't, but I never looked at it. So anyway, like I said, it's different for everybody, but you got to ask them, you got to get them thinking retirement. Like how close are you to retirement? If, what is in your retirement? Do you want, like for us, Todd was a coach. We would have retired 70% on his income. Well, remind you, we live paycheck to paycheck already. So that means 70% of broke. That doesn't sound fun to me. So we needed to supplement. And for us, we were so sick and tired of living broke. So we had to write that out. That was that's what really catapulted us and started us. And like I said, we started here just like everybody going right through life. Like wherever you are in your life and this found you, we're not any different. Todd loved what he did. We lived in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house that was actually owned by the school system, but he had won state championships. He was at the pinnacle of his high school football career. The man ate, slept, and breathed football. This was over 25 years ago, this picture. What I can tell you is that our life was Friday Night Lights before Friday Night Lights movie or show ever even existed. We were in a small town. There was 2 high schools. All the middle schools fed into those 2 high schools. And Friday nights our town shut down. And so much that this is Sierra, our next child that was born the next year in 2000. He was, his name was Cade, that you'll see here shortly. He was actually born around football games. So much that my OB doctor was a Northside Booster, which is the school that we coached at. And Todd only went to 2 appointments. One was the ultrasound, right? And then the second one was when I was going to be induced. And when I walked in, that doctor just saw the coach come walking in and it was like, oh, like a superstar just walked in the room. And he was like, so coach, we have a big game coming up Friday night. So I induce on Tuesdays or Thursdays. So she can be induced on Tuesday or we can do it on Thursday. But listen, you got a big game on Friday. That means that you're going to be sleeping at the hospital. I just don't think you're going to get a great night's rest for our big game on Friday. So what do you think about Tuesday? And Todd's just sitting there going like this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Tuesday it is. So Cade was literally born on a Tuesday because of a Friday night game. That's a true story. And our house that we rented, like I said, was owned by the school system. So my rent came out of our paycheck. Our driveway was closer than the teacher's parking lot. I only share all this with you because Todd walked to work. He truly had his dream job. Our stadium sat over 10,000 people. This was over 24 years ago, almost 20, it was 25 years ago. So when I tell you he had his dream job, we were not out looking, okay? But we were praying for something. We had a fencing company in the summer. Coaches always have odd jobs that we do. We had a fencing company in the summer. I waited tables, painted houses, you name it, we did it, but we were always trading time for money. It never got us ahead. This entered our life. And when this entered our life, we didn't have the money to do it. Two, we didn't have the time, but we know we needed to make time. So when a new business enters this is our stadium. This is 25 years ago, guys, 25 years ago. It literally was a small college, basically, is where Todd coached at. So because this is a new business, you can't bring old habits into a new business. A new business requires a new mindset. It requires new habits. That's going to get you your new results, right? And so for us, we needed to, like, Todd has always been light years ahead of me. I've never been a dreamer. I've never been a goal-oriented person, really. Todd always has been. So it's really pulled me along the way and really learned a lot. So in this new business, we sat down and we were actually driving from Fort Smith back home to Tennessee.
Everybody take a picture of this. Everybody take a picture of this. This is an incredible drawing. Okay, keep going, Ashley. I wish I would have got this.
Yep. So we actually he drew it out, like how much land, what our house, the patio, the barn, the weight room, the pool, the fences, the yard, the horses, how much we were going to pay for the land, how much we were going to pay for the barn, the house, all of that, and then what it was going to cost us. But of course, look, that was, back in 2001, $1 million budget. Boy, that wouldn't get us much today, would it? That's crazy. But so we just drew it out and Todd put it everywhere. So I framed it. That was in our office. He had it in the coach's office because, listen, you're going to want to quit. This is hard. He got told no. It was like a popcorn party in the coach's office every day. And he would walk in the door in our house and he would just sit down on the couch and go, I quit. This is just not working. It's not going to work for us. And I would just say, okay. And the next morning he'd get up and he'd do it all over again. And he'd come home that afternoon and he'd sit down on the couch and go, it's just not going to work, Ashley. I'm just done. I'm exhausted. And I was like, okay. And then the next morning he'd get up and he'd get going again. And because if he had quit, we would have had to take that out of the frame, wad it up, and throw it in the trash. Listen, we tried everything. I mean, right? We had a fencing company. He was at the pinnacle of his high school career in coaching. He was one of the most sought after coaches in Tennessee through Arkansas. We went against a lot of coaches that you now know in the SEC. We played them in high school and he beat them. I don't say that to brag. I say that to point you where we were in life. So this is, fast forward when this industry found us, this is the house that we ended up going all in and buying.
Wow.
It was on 40 acres. It was over 19,000 square feet. We had multiple guest houses. This was the horses that our daughter wanted some horses, and he wrote that down on 2001, horses. And so this was their time together, was doing horses. And that's our barn. We had a horse trainer that would come out. This is inside our barn. So I share this with you because what I'm sharing with you is not something that we just teach, we lived it. So that's our plane, that's our pilot on the right. That's our youngest son that's sitting up in the cockpit. One of our kids would always get to co-pilot with him. So our kids have traveled the world. We've been able to be full-time parents. with our kids. They've never seen us go have a job. We've never sat in traffic going to work or coming home. I mean, literally, when I say we're full-time parents, live life on our terms. We work when we want to work. We work where we want to work. It's been pretty phenomenal. So I can just tell you, a good life can be the enemy of a great life, because for us, this is a great life. Being able to live life on your terms, on our terms, and be able to travel the world. But it gets even better. Like, so, you know, when you don't know what you don't know, that's where I'm about to take you. Because time freedom, this is time freedom. This is financial freedom. But you know, the house, because you don't know what you don't know, that's what you immediately kind of go to. When I say we've been able to be full-time parents, we've now been able to let our children live out their dreams. Had Todd stayed coaching and teaching, our kids could have never played sports in college. This is our daughter that played 4 years of lacrosse at Birmingham Southern. She would have had to go get a job and work through school, but she was allowed to be a full-time athlete at school, and we never missed a game. We were at every game for 4 years. And then this is our son, Cade, that was born in Arkansas. He walked on at Liberty University. We could have never allowed him. We could have never afford for him to be a walk-on in football. That's him in the right-hand corner of the top right. If you can see that, that's AJ McCarron. For those that don't know who that is, he was a big-time quarterback at Alabama, was drafted, went on to the pros. This is when he was in the pros. Kay his quarterback coaches were the same. And so he came in town that weekend. And when Kay was in middle school, he was allowed to, we drove over to Alabama, over to Mobile once a month, sometimes twice a month, to work out with that quarterback coach. And we could have never afforded to do that, but that was Kate's passion. That was his passion. He just never had the size. When I tell you he's that Rudy, he was the big heart and the small body that was unstoppable. And that was his dream, to walk on a Division I, or actually we just wanted to play Division I football. And we could have never afforded to do that. But because, remember when I told you he was born in Arkansas, Arkansas was his team. He's a die-hard Razorback. So when he walked on at Liberty, he said, Mom, Dad, you're not going to believe this, but my senior year, Liberty travels to Arkansas. I'm going to make that. I'm going to be there on that field. And we just kind of were like, okay, dude, you can do anything, right? Who's going to put limits on your kids? And his junior year, at the end of his junior year, his coaches came to him and said, listen, what are you thinking about, like, your career? What are you thinking? And he was like, well, I don't know. And he was like, what do you think about being a coach? And we always kind of thought that he would be a coach, but that had to be something in his own terms, his own mind, right? Not us pushing that on him. And he was like, I don't know. Can I think about it? And he was like, they were like, yeah, if you think about it, you want to be a coach, we would love to have you come on our staff. And so, of course, immediately when he tells us, we're kind of like, dude, what are you even thinking about? Like, why is this even a thought process? Yes. But because he just so loved the game, he wasn't quite ready to switch, but he did. And, you know, he just saw himself on that field. And because he was open, I always say, don't put God in a box. He was on that field in Arkansas, and that's him in the middle of those players. Because the players, I mean, he was adored, you know, so by the players and everything. And they came and got that picture, and he's in the middle of them. He got to live out his dream. Was it in the way that he thought it was going to come? He thought it was going to be dressed as a player on that field, but he was as a coach, and he was on that, and they won. They beat Arkansas. So he got to live out his dreams, right? So we could have never been able to do that had Todd stayed coaching. So I just share all of that with you because like I said, this isn't something that we just teach. We read in a book or listened to a podcast or whatever, and then just started teaching it. This is something that we lived. We stumbled upon it by accident. Like I said, Todd, he was the dreamer. He was the visionary. I always say he's about 6 chapters ahead of me in any book, and if we ever got on the same page, it'd be like a massive explosion out there because he pulls, right? I mean, he is always learning, always growing, always the visionary. And I'm always kind of trying to catch up behind him. But this is, like I said, something that we've learned and lived. So I'm going to let you kind of take a step back. And if y'all don't mind, y'all want to, Susan, you give them how long y'all want them to take and kind of, go figure that why out for yourselves.
Yeah, you guys. And I think Amber May had a really good, so you can do this different ways. I say we do what do you think? Like 15 minutes? Amber did hers in quadrants, you guys, her why in quadrants where she did financial freedom, the house, homeschooling, and travel. You can do this, but what Ashley's going to tell you time and time and time, get specific. So if you want a new car, if you want whatever, like how much does that cost? Like be specific with tying numbers to it. And yes, do this for yourself. Is there anything you want to share about that or your vision board for inspiration?
Do it, what? Share my why?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so when we were in, geez, I swear.
Here we go. This will give you inspiration.
This girl.
All right, crank it out.
When we were in North Carolina, we did this and it was so good. And we did break out into little groups, but I brought mine home with me, of course. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I had written mine out in 4 quadrants, and then towards the end, right before I was about to share it, I threw on another piece on there, which is starting to happen. But I put on there financial freedom, meaning, of course, adding to my retirement. That's literally what kind of brought me here in the first place, other than the fact that I needed help with other things. I'm talking about the business, the building to my retirement is what had already brought me here. Getting off of my feet behind the chair, and on here I have 200,000 this year, and these girls want to slap me and be like 200,000 a month, girl. So I got to step that one up in my brain. Okay. And to be completely debt free, I don't have a lot of debt right now, but still, if there's anything, it freaks me out. We've talked about this. I don't know why, but it's just something that freaks me out. So I don't like to have like any, and that's not a huge number by any means. So that'll be done. That is almost done. Buying myself a house, since I got divorced and split, I've been renting, and it's a great house. It's a great little space for me, but I want to own some property somewhere, you guys. It's big girl time, and I should have something by now. So that's a big goal. I need to draw out my house. I think I'm going to do it in Chat GPT because we had a really good experience with that, doing like a kind of a compound that we were all talking about that Barb had made. And so we kind of added to it with Chat GPT, and it just looked amazing. So I'm going to do that to kind of envision things a little bit better. I want to homeschool my kids because things are crazy right now. Things are crazy. I want to teach the values that I believe in, and I want them to learn skills that I believe they need to get through life with. And then I also want to be able to travel. I love to travel. I loved going to North Carolina and not stressing on the amount of time I was not behind the chair because of the money. I mean, I did stress a little on getting caught up on people, but I'm even adjusting that schedule too right now at work. I took my Mondays now and marked them out. So now I'm 3 days a week at the salon. And then going to try to work this a little bit more because transitioning out only because of my body. I absolutely love my job. So I'll be doing some people, I'm sure, continuously. Don't worry, Susie. I know you're on here. And so, I just, there's a lot of different things, but this girl here is here with me and she's like, you need to blow it up a little more. So I appreciate her confidence in me because that is the last thing that I was talking about, which is building, but the confidence to attract a worthy partner, someone that I can run with and, grow all this stuff with. So that's my why, you guys, as of now. But we made these cool, which I think I'm going to get together because we have enough girls here in my area, vision boards. We did this at our North Carolina deal, and it had been probably 3 years since I had done one. We had done one here at this house before. And so, yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
So I love this. So I don't want to sell people short. Do you guys, can you put in the chat if you have a real problem with this meeting going over 9 o'clock? Because I feel like we're going to go over 9 o'clock. I'm sorry. Because we're doing this and then we want to do all that energy stuff because it is freaking important. So many of you, we did 2 weeks of energy clearing, and I promise what has shifted for you guys, just the whole team in general. It's like every one of you guys. It's beautiful. So why don't we take 20 minutes for the why, get as detailed as you can, and then we'll come back and maybe let's share 3 or 4, and then we can go over the energetic stuff. And then if there's anybody that has burning desires for things they need help shifting or pivoting, we'll dig into that as well. Okay, so let's meet back at 8:55. Does that work for everybody? And if you want to, for accountability for these, we'll talk about that. Look, I always want to take it a step further, don't I? Let's be accountable. Let's hold each other accountable. Okay, go. Break. So just 1 second, everybody go into the chat that we connected on the leadership chat and look at the picture that Chat GPT made for us based on the vision for a healing center. You guys take that out. Check that out because dream big. That's all I can say. Whatever your dreams are, go ahead and multiply that times a lot because I promise they're too small. Okay. Okay.
If anybody, so it's 10:52. If anybody wants to come in and maybe start sharing, we could go ahead and start sharing some that might have their whys out, drawn out, thought out.
Oh, are we doing it live or are we doing it in the chat? My name's
Oh,
Maddie.
Yeah. Hey, Maddie, if you
Hi.
don't mind, go ahead and just share right now.
Yeah, so my why was why I would be wanting to do the business is financial retirement. I don't have a 401k. I work for a nonprofit, and so I'm always trying to see what's my future going to be instead of working until I can't work anymore. So that's what's key for me. And
So do you have a timeline on that? Like what does that look like? So like, when do you want to retire?
it would be nice to retire at 65, and that would be in 5 years.
So write it
So-
down, write it down.
Okay.
And then how much do you want in that retirement?
See, that's the question. I don't know. I have to talk to my I don't know what that would be. So I just know I need to have a retirement. You know, is it $500,000? I don't think so. I think it's more than that. You know, so
So yeah, to be able to keep maintaining your way of life.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
okay.
And so that's the great thing that what you have your hands on, because remember, this is a residual business, what you're building.
Mhm.
This is that real passive income that once you get it built, if you build it correctly, right?
Right.
Really go out and dig deep into your business and build and pour into other people's lives. And you do that enough and teach them how to do that, then you're building a solid business. So if you build your income up to, I don't know, 10 or 20 or $30,000 a week, you know, when you decide to retire from here, that business will just keep growing because you built it right. You built it on the right foundation.
Well, I was my retirement would be to not work where I currently work so that I have freedom to do other things and also create have an income.
Yeah.
So not
So that's-
not like flat out retire, but I
Well-
would do this instead of what I currently do.
Yeah. So you retire into this is what they say.
Right, right.
But even so, though, even so, I mean, this is still, you know, I mean, this is work. I mean, this is my Saturday morning. After this, I leave and go to the beach. So this is work for us. So
Right.
even so, you know, this is totally different. But if you do want to step away, you know, and just like we did, we stepped away for 7 years. We went to once a year. We showed up at convention, and that's the most that we did.
Mm.
7 years we lived on residual, and we still could. We're not out here because we have to be. We're out here because we want to be.
Right, right.
Don't get those two confused. Our last child just went off to college, so we're empty nesters. And so and if you want to raise your income, you get to decide that for yourself. And we really believe that this is a small window in the world right now and what's happening. So like we caught lightning in a bottle once. And so truly blessed to feel like we're about to catch lightning in a bottle for a second time, because we were part of our last company hitting momentum and knowing what that looks like and then going through that process. And we see that here. And you guys are getting to be a part of that. You don't like, if I wish I could kind of give you my glasses and let you see what's coming, because you would be working like your hair's on fire. Like you
Yeah.
wouldn't be sleeping. To be laying that groundwork for when it does happen, it's coming. Like now you got the masses, right? Instead of
Mhm.
it's just you, me, myself, and I, or me and three people, when that momentum happens. But getting this foundation laid, but it's a great start, Maddie. It really is. And
Yeah.
give yourself 5 years here. Then look up
Yeah.
and reevaluate. How hard do I
Oh.
want to keep working? Do I want to stay at this nonprofit? Do I want to retire into this? And how much do I want to work into this? That's
Right,
it.
right. Yeah.
Giving options, having options. That's what this is about. And options are different for everybody. We don't put you in a box. This isn't a one size fits all.
Right. All
I
right. Well,
have
thank you.
something I'd like to share.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you, Maddie.
Thank you.
One time I was on the second floor in a restaurant that was on the second floor.
Go.
And I was looking down into the parking lot of the restaurant. And I saw a bus it was an independent living facility bus that had taken their residents to this restaurant. And as the residents were going to enter the bus, I saw this long line of about 15. I assume that they were elderly people. I don't know how old they were, but they all were crunched over and looking like they had lots of pain, and they all had walkers, and they were inching into this bus, and there was the driver helping them take all these walkers and fold them up and put them in storage and help them walk up the stairs to get into the bus. And it struck me, and I thought, oh my gosh, there are so many people that are in poor health and have no idea there are other solutions. And that's part of my why. I want to be able to share this with as many people as possible, because life doesn't have to be like that when you're 70, 80, or however old you are. So I wanted to share that with you.
I appreciate that, Mary Ellen. Is it Mary Ellen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, but so tell me what you currently do.
I'm retired. I'll be 69 next week.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. And where do you live?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas. I'm Audrey's daughter.
Okay, awesome. So my dad's in San Antonio. What part?
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. He's in Floresville.
Oh, not too far from us.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So anybody else would love to share?
I'll share. Okay. And this might sound kind of funny to some of you. I happen to be 73 and a half, and I am retired, and I have a comfortable retirement from the government job that I had for 32 years. So, I'm okay that way, as far as being able to, meet my expenses and such like that. However, this company is just fantastic. I'm so glad that Barbara introduced me to this, and I'm having so much fun. But anyway, back to my dreams. I have several things written down here, but when you talk about dreaming big, okay, one of my big dreams is my son and I, and he's married, happen to love Formula One racing. We watch it, when it's on Sundays, and we're texting back and forth, all going back and forth. I was actually in Italy last year on a trip, because I do travel a lot now. and went to the Ferrari factory. Of course, fell in love with all the cars. So one of my big dreams, okay, is to actually own a Ferrari. I have one. It's on my Facebook page. It's my background picture. This lovely purple Ferrari. I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, so it has to be purple. And but anyway, that is my biggest dream. But I'd have to build a garage first because I don't have a garage. Okay, so
Oh darn! Oh darn! You got to build a garage first for your purple Ferrari.
And then buy the Ferrari.
Love it.
And take a trip to Monaco with my son and my daughter-in-law if she would like to go, so we can actually attend a Formula One race there. So that's my big dream, and I'm going to do.
Janet, it's not big. I love that. That's what this is about. So write down how much your garage is going to cost.
Yep.
Because that's first, right?
Oh yeah, that's first.
Write down how much the trip to Italy is going to cost, and then the date of the next Formula One, race.
That's what I was writing down. Because it won't be next year. I have other things next year, but probably 2026 as far as like at least doing the trip anyway. But yeah, that's my big dreams.
That's all I asked. Write it down. 2026. You know what? It'll be here before we know it. I mean, 2024 is halfway gone. We're on to almost 2025. So write the date down, and then I want you to start like where you want to stay and how much is that going to cost? Like, how much are you going to spend on this trip? And then the Ferrari and how much is that's going to cost, which I think you already probably know that.
I do.
I love it. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. Write it all down, get specific with dates, and then draw out your garage and how much it's going to cost and what it's going to look like. And
how much is it, Janet? How much is it?
The car. Yeah, the car itself is one that I saw anyway was actually here in Maryland. It was $350,000. The car that I have a picture of is like it's probably not available anymore, obviously, but it's like $3, and it wasn't brand new. It was not brand new, but that was $350,000. And I know like even the the race tickets like for Monaco, I just Googled that. It was something like, I figured for the couple, it would be the tickets themselves for 3 days or 2 days would be like 10-15,000. I mean, plus a hotel and everything. I have a big goal. No, that's
all right. I was just double checking that you had those numbers because these girls are on me about numbers. So
okay, getting the numbers.
That's what this is about. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
So I love it. We get to watch your journey and then watch you go take pictures and get to watch that whole process happen.
I know.
That's awesome. Can we hear? That's awesome, Janet. Can we hear from Barb and then Audrey?
All right, ladies, this just came through. As I was listening to Ashley, it was really quite interesting because I kept just channeling and writing down, much like I did in North Carolina. So as I was listening, I received additional insights and clarity for the Wellness Center. A powerful vision came to me: leave no one behind. This vision is about helping people awaken their inner light and guiding them to attune it to their highest frequency. There is a profound urgency in extending our hand to assist others in their transformation. This is not about physical death, but rather about experiencing a profound rebirth in consciousness. Our third eye is opening with these new revelations and our products, and people are beginning to emerge from the deep sleep of societal indoctrinations. The veil is lifting, and with it, the true nature of Christ consciousness is becoming evident. This awakening is about more than just a personal enlightenment. It's a collective journey towards a higher state of being. As we help each other rise, we contribute to a world where everyone can live fully, freely, and harmoniously. The time is now to embrace this shift and actively participate in the collective elevation of consciousness. So that's what came through as I'm listening to everybody, and that's just how I channel things.
Thank you, Barb.
We love that. Thank you so much.
Barb. Thank you.
That's amazing.
You're welcome.
Good morning, ladies. So it's nice to be here with you this morning. Barb, that was fantastic. And in a lot of ways, that is a big piece of what is in alignment for me and my purpose. I'm Audrey. I am normally in South Texas between San Antonio and Austin. Currently, I'm traveling. And so that's really nice to be able to be working from wherever I am in the country. And so that's part of my why, is being able to continue and maintain this lifestyle, and to be able to spend this time with you all and on my terms, in my way, and to see how does it get better than this, and which ways can we expand and grow and experience. So but my why is I'd like to buy another piece of real estate in Austin. So I'm excited to start really getting down to the nitty-gritty of the brick and mortar, and really kind of designing this and using this as a really great time to, because this is what this embodiment piece is for me. So part of what I do is I work in the way of energetic medicine and life coaching. I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years. I've partaken in so many other experiences close to this nature, but never on this level, because it's this alignment. And for me, working in this realm of like creating reality and manifestation, the more we can hold in our body, the more energy, the more our functioning of our cells, creating our organs at an optimal frequency, like the better all of it flows, and the more successful it seems to be, and the bigger things can get. And so with our product line, being able to cultivate this environment for our bodies to thrive in this way is just next level, and something I've just been praying for like years for my own personal use. And so how does it get better than this? Like flying up the stairs without an ache or pain, and just, easeful life. And what's happening in the body is happening in my world. So the more easeful my body is, I just seem to be able to navigate business and build business partners and grow relationships and be here with you all and Saturday morning, and just with a big old cheesy grin on my face, doing what I love, learning from the best of the best, Ashley and Susan Frank. And, I've been working with Susan Cameron for 5 years at this point, and she has just been a soul family member since day one. And to see her just like call all you beautiful people in together to support us in this big way, and our bodies are just feeling so good at the same time, it's out of this world manifestation. And that's what embodiment is. That's what the beauty of Christ consciousness and being able to create on that level. That's the gift. And when our bodies are healthy, it just seems so easeful and effortless, and it's like feels like the fountain of youth and the secret of life. And now I'm rambling, and thank you, Susan, for giving me the opportunity to express myself in a big way. And I love you all. Thank you so much for the time that you all put into me, into each other, and into this planet. And I hope.
Beautiful, my friend. I love you so, so much. I love that. Thank you guys for sharing all of that inspirational wisdom and your hopes and dreams. So I love this, because I would love to even share these in the messenger group for the leaders, so we can hold each other accountable. So when time gets tough, like Ashley says, if you want to develop leaders, you keep going back to their why, like why, because she said, people are going to have rough paths. So as you guys build your teams bigger and bigger, like, let us support you, because that's what I've done, is just kind of layered. I mean, a lot of you have relationships with Susan Frank and with Ashley, and, with Todd, with Ken, with everybody. So next, I would love to, and if any of you want to put it in the chat just to hold somebody accountable, Linda's building a brand new house. So we were talking last night, wanting those upgrades, that extra 100,000 in the kitchen. That sounds crazy, but like, it's really what happens, isn't it, you guys? Like 100,000 just goes like it's nothing. So next, Fairy, what you want to say, sweet girl?
Hey, I just
Hey,
wanted
honey.
to make a comment. Hey, it's good to see everybody. I miss you guys.
Oh,
Miss
we
you,
love
girl.
you.
So, this is so valuable. I mean, and I just really commend you for taking the time to work with your group and your team and others that you're allowing to be a part of this, because some people might see this as, okay, is this really all that critical? But it is more important than you think, and it's more helpful, and it does, like Ashley said, put your business on a very firm foundation instead of just like, yeah, why am I doing this? And on the days when things are tough and you don't, like she said, and you don't really know why you're doing this, it's just so much easier to not do it. And so, but I will say this, I'm in a car, so I wasn't where I could draw out, and I want to do just like Amber, that great quadrant thing. But I will say that one of the things I've learned from you guys and from Ashley and from Susan is that the why can evolve. The why can evolve. When I have a very nice state of North Carolina retirement, but it's so minuscule compared to what life could be in this business. And so I'm very blessed, very fortunate. I'm grateful for it. But y'all, yep. But y'all, it ain't enough. It just ain't. And so when I talked to Susan about this to begin with, I said, do you think I could make $1,000 a month? And the look on her face was, she was very respectful and said, yes. But the look on her face was like, that was almost comical, that it was just, you're not thinking big enough. You're not thinking, where this could go. And having had experience in other home-based businesses, and, I wanted 2 trips to Hawaii. And I mean, I know it could, but I just didn't think I could. And I think part of this journey with the why, not only, with Ashley nudging us to say, get it out there, write it down, but it's also affirming, yeah, Ashley can do it, Susan can do it, I can do it. I can do it. And it also evolves, and it's okay for the why to shift and get bigger and change, because our lives change and our families change and our needs change and so,
And our minds grow.
applause for this being out there, because while for some people it may take them 1 or 2 of these trainings to get it as to the importance of it, but it is.
I love that, Fairy. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for that feedback, girl. I love it. I love it. And I do think, Amber wrote that down. Oh, you want to show? I'm sorry, go.
Oh no, I want to say that I know that look they gave you, Fairy, when they laughed about the $1,000. Okay, I know that little cackle that they had. They looked at each other when I said it to them, because I was on a Zoom when I said that same figure, and they looked at each other like I was just crazy for thinking I wasn't going to have way more than that. So I appreciate their confidence in me for sure, right? They give it to us. But what Ashley said this morning, and what Susan made me write it down, because we forget things and we don't say them right, so we have to read them over and over and over, but it was so good, and I put it in the chat. But a good life, Fairy, you said you had a good life, but is the enemy of a great life. Like, it is so true. It is so true. So that is a huge quote that I'm taking away for sure.
And I think that's it was so spot on that you're saying. Like, I have this shirt, you can't hardly see the little tiny logo for the big boob, but Garage Door Geeks. And I was working for my husband before I found this, you guys. And as you see with this right here, like, when I love something, when I go after it, like, we're all in, we're 200% I don't even know if that's a thing, but that's the speed and the everything. So, but I was working for him, and I was trying to do the accounting and the spreadsheets and just talk about not being in alignment. You guys, it was horrible. And he's a nice guy. And he would be like, oh, it's okay. You're too stressed out. You're homeschooling now. Here, we're going to have the house clean. Here, we've got somebody taking care of the yard. Like, we have a comfortable life in a lot of ways. But like I shared with many of you guys, it was our money until I needed to buy an organic mattress, or until I needed another medical treatment for my son. I went through probably almost $300,000 while I was a stay-at-home mom / energy worker. And then I probably brought in another 300,000. That's $600,000 in 8 to 10 years. Like, what happened to that money? Mold remediation. It just went on and on and on. So I was like, this is BS. I'm not living like this anymore. And it was such a God thing, because all these things are God things. And I decided to work the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, like in a week. So you go through your fears, your resentments, you go through this whole spiritual transformation. And I wrote down, what's your fear? And I said that I'm not capable, because that's really what it was, an unworthiness, a stress, because I really wasn't capable of doing this for my husband. And you guys, within 2 hours, he comes bebopping in the bedroom. He's like, babe, I've got an idea. I'm going to hire this girl. She can work at our house. She's going to take this off your plate. Hey, if you ever start another business, you could use her for a few things. 2 days later, this came into my life. So I'm like, perfect, right time, and on to the next thing. So now I'm rambling about that. But Audrey remembers, like a lot of you guys, Letty remembers, there's a lot of you that were in my circle that, like, it was a dark freaking place, wasn't it? Like, it was at another level, and you could just go from that to this total ascension. It is possible. So I want to call on Jennifer, because we talked last night about, the ability to dream and worthiness and actually be invisible in front of your friends on Facebook, things like that. Jen, you want to kind of go over like kind of how we outline this and the overall goals? And we like normally muscle test things on a percentage wise. So are you in alignment on a scale of 0 to 10, right? Like if you're only aligned with some of what we did last week with selling 2 boxes a week, we're going to have problems getting you the $300,000 car. So we got to clear all that so that we can call it in. Ashley's like, yeah, that's basically right. Like, got to be in alignment here too, girls. So, okay, Jennifer, it's yours, girlfriend. And she can speak slow. She does such a good job. She is a super speed clearer too, you guys. So we get a lot for this, for sure. It's an honor. Thank you, girl.
Welcome. Okay, so this morning, I guess like 2 hours ago. So if your creative juices are flowing, it might be the session. And again, I'll give my normal caveat. If energy healing is not your jam, don't worry. Your subconscious mind did not give me permission to work on you. But if you're open to this work, then this is your report. So Susan, the 2 things I could not for the life of me remember last night, I remembered in the middle of the night. So I got up and wrote it down.
Oh, what was it? What was it?
It's going to be the first 2 things, and it's going to go hand in hand with Ashley's talk. So number 1 is clarity on your why. So get your creative juices rolling on your clarity for your why. Number 2 is blocks to achieving your whys. Number 3, we worked on blocks to the ability to dream and achieve big or even bigger. 4, blocks around family and partner support, because let's get real, sometimes they think we're crazy and we need their support just like we need our own support. Blocks to feeling worthy, blocks to the ability to streamlining and not overthinking. We worked on money blocks, desperation around money, poverty, scarcity mindsets. We worked on blocks to being visible, blocks to leading and building teams, blocks to confidence in the product, and even the nervousness that we sometimes experience when somebody first starts purchasing and you're like, oh God, what do I do? So we're going to work on that, or we did work on that. Blocks around training, jumping on the calls, doing the boards, that kind of stuff, whatever that encompasses. Blocks around being stuck and digging in your heels and not wanting to move forward, even when you think you're moving forward. So the first topic that came up is psychological energetic imbalances, and it took us to dissonance energies, and specifically reducing dissonance energies. And on the previous reports, I never gave explanations. I gave a few on this report just so people can kind of wrap their heads around it. But in a nutshell, a reducing dissonance energy is created when excuses are made to reduce the gap between conflicting realities, the actual reality, and the desired perception of reality. So this particular topic brought in denial energies, and the one that came up specifically was a denial energy associated with being stuck or digging your heels in and not moving forward. So again, for those that maybe they think they're in a great place, but they don't know that there's really no limit to where we can go. So we want to release that denial energy, and we want to replace it with the ability to be free and move forward. The next thing that came up was a relationship conflict energy, and that specific conflict was with money. So we want to release that relationship conflict energy with money, and we want to replace that with having a healthy relationship with money. The next category that came up was a cognitive dissonance. And again, that one's going to be more like dissonance energies that are created when a conflicting emotion, belief, and idea causes energetic frictions affecting values held about oneself. So that specific category brought in an identity conflict with being successful. So we want to release that one, and we replace that with identifying as being successful. The next category that came in was an inner child dissonance. And guys, that's kind of like if you think of the US, an inner child would be like if Texas broke off of the United States. So maybe something traumatic happened to you when you were 8 years old. So that means in your subconscious mind, yeah, you have your adult self, but you still have like maybe that little 8-year-old kid that never merged in. So that's kind of what the inner child is. It's that little child piece of you that never morphed into the adult piece of you. So specific to the inner child, it brought in a spirit to physical energetic connection caused by trauma energy, specifically spiritual trauma energies. And dialing in super specific, it brought up prenatal internal energies. And those, the ones that came up there was fear. So we released that fear and we replaced that with confidence. The next one was insecurity. We released that and replaced that with being secure. The third one was being apprehensive. We released that and we replaced that with being trusting. The next disconnection is a physical to physical energetic disconnection. So, I mean, that could be your brain, your nervous system to, an organ in your body, but it's causing an energetic conflict. Again, those are going to be related to trauma energies. This time it brought in some more psychological traumas. This one specifically brought in suppressed internal energies. And the ones that came up for that was contempt, which we released that and replaced that with respect. Inadequate, we released that and replaced that with being adequate. Ridiculed, we released that and replaced that with being praised. The next things that came up is spirit out of body. So what that means is your spirit's not 100% connected to your body. It's kind of like a little piece of you's kind of floating around looking at your body. It's not all in one. So those were created by trauma energies, psychological trauma energies. And those came in at current energies, which were things that we're kind of experiencing right now, which was shame, that we released and replaced that with being worthy. I can't talk. Humiliated, we released and replaced with being uplifted. Mortified, we released and replaced with being uplifted. Then let's see, the last ones that came up were influencing external energy. So these are things that aren't necessarily your energy. It's things that on the outside world is affecting you. And so that one brought up two things. First was despair, that we released and replaced with hope. And the last one was failure, that we released and replaced with success. Now, like all the other reports, I gave some affirmations. I've already installed these subconsciously for you. But again, if you read the report, you kind of read the instructions that I give you, it will amplify these affirmations. So the first 11 affirmations I did was, I am safe. I am confident in who I am. I release all hidden emotional traumas. I reject the limitations placed on me from others. I choose to stop limiting my voice and expression of self. I can accomplish all things I choose. I free myself to be successful. I give myself permission to reach for goals and obtain them. I am not limited by age, past, or future. I am strong, confident, and capable. I am welcome and accept the inclusion into my social groups. Positive reinforcements that I installed is increased self-esteem, increased sense of belonging. I cannot talk today, guys. Increased confidence, increased trust, increased sense of accomplishment, increased acceptance of worth, increased acceptance of positive attraction energy to abundance, increased positive outlook of the future, increased drive towards goals, increased ability to speak out about the goals. And then lastly, I plugged in 3 encouragements, and that was the encouragement being encouraged to drive and passion towards those goals, encouraged healthy decision making, encouraged confidence towards healthy and positive future, encouraged ability to seek out accomplishments, encouraged self-awareness and understanding, and encouraged a healthy gradual release of tension throughout the body. And of course, I'm not going to read those final releases. That's where I get a little bit more woo-woo. But, you know, if you're a person of faith, you know that there's good and evil. So we want to address all that encompasses that and that might be holding you back. So you can read that section of the report at your leisure. And that's it. That's what came up.
Love it. Thank you, girl. We appreciate that. That was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, this stuff is powerful. So love it. Thank you guys so much.
And it seems to keep getting deeper. Like the more people are, you know, a lot of times you won't get a lot of really deep releases when you're first working with somebody, especially people that are not understanding of what energy healing is and some of the stigmas that it has. So like I would say our first session was kind of baby. Our next session was a little bit more medium. Guys, this one may have not had 15 or 20 releases like the last one, but these were some deep things. I mean, you're talking about prenatal stuff, things that you came out with in the womb. So I think I have a big feeling that the more we do this, the deeper rooted the things are going to come out.
Awesome. And I love this. And you guys, Jennifer does this as a business, so you can hire her for individual sessions where she does. I mean, this girl goes deep. She's certified in over 20 modalities. So if you need some help, she is who you should hire for sure. So I love that. Thank you so much, girl. We appreciate you. Okay, we're going to let Susan, Frank, and Ashley kind of you know, summarize this, and we'll go from there. Thank you guys for coming. We appreciate your time this morning.
Susan, are you still with us?
I'm here.
All right, girl. Listen, if you don't know Susan Frank and what she's really accomplished out here, in our previous company, she was the fastest one to $1 million in the company.
Yeah.
And a woman.
Yeah. And when she
in our business, but in the overall company. So what you have your hands on with Susan Frank, then connected with Susan Cameron. But Susan Frank's been there, done that. Like she's made millions in this industry. She knows how to build a business. So do not take what she says lightly. I don't know if you really know what you got your hands on. This isn't somebody that just got lucky or somebody that just, you know, started doing this business a year or two ago. This lady has built a massive business, a massive following, and she's lived on residual income for the last couple of years. So make no mistake, she's out here working not because she has to, but because she wants to. And so listen, I mean, I would follow this lady to the ends of the earth, and I would jump off if she said jump off, just because she knows what she's doing. And I've watched her. Don't tell me to jump off, please. But I'm just saying I would if you told me to. Because that's how much.
Don't worry, girl. I got you back. So
I'm going to let her close it out since I opened it.
I know. Do you know what? She made me think bigger too when I was at her house, and she said, I don't really worry about what the bills are when they come in. I'm like, I need that life.
And she is right. And she's the massive closer. Like I mean, she would close out a room in our previous, like, no tomorrow. She has been, so I always just like sit and listen and in awe on her. So that's the reason I'm going to let her close it all out.
Well, when I found this business, I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I was like, I'm going to run people so far from growth that they never have to be financially in a hard place. And that's been my heart since the day I started. And when I felt bad health-wise and wanted to hide in my closet and still in maternity clothes and already had the baby, like it was terrible. And so I just don't want people to have pain like I had, and I want to help people that haven't experienced, never experienced. But what I've realized as I've been out here, I thought I was the only one that felt like that. I thought I was the only one that picked up extra hours for a vacation to all of a sudden the car needed tires or the dishwasher broke or life just happened and it was so stressful. And I have worked my job. I have worked hard and I wasn't any farther ahead than I have been before. And I was like, people deserve better. So it's just been incredible. You deserve better. Don't let anybody get you distracted. There's people that are very uneducated on what this business can do. We're so lucky to have our hands on these products. So the key to being successful is getting confident and go out there and take action and ask yourself every day, if you don't have a team yet, then start thinking about how you can grow it. But if my team did what I did today, how successful would my business be? And if you wake up every day to improve lives or to help other people or whatever your passion is, like everybody's in the same, but go after that passion and take action and your life can forever be changed. Like you can go out to eat and read menus from left to right instead of right to left, because I've read them right to left and they're no fun. And it's a great thing not to have to watch your account to know how much money in there, just to make your choices by your bank account instead of make your choices because that's what you want to do. And you wake up when you get done sleeping. Like that's a pretty great life. And that's what you can have here. The funny thing is I wake up earlier now than I ever did because I'm excited to go do big things. And I'm up later because it's so exciting to have our hands on something and truly change people's lives. So I'm just so excited for each and every one of you. And don't get unplugged. Like stay plugged in. My people that stay plugged in and take action make this. I'm going to turn it back to Susan and Ashley if y'all have any ending words, but y'all have a fabulous day.
Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Ashley. You guys, we have the best of the best, the best of the best of the best of the best. The Dalai Lama, the unicorn, all the things all wrapped up into one beautiful Jesus bow. Like it's incredible. So I'm grateful for every one of you guys. Y'all rock it out this week.
Thank you.
Have a
good
weekend.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a
Thank you.
great Saturday.
Guys, thank you so much for being here.